Hi, and it is late at night, but I just saw this pop up and I wanted to share it with you guys. And it could not just be better news. I am a huge supporter of John Schaefer of Iced Earth, who's been caught up in all this madness. But this story is more than just about John. And so the headline is the Department of Justice drops charges, retools plea deals for January 6 defendants. The Justice Department has been forced to offer retooled plea deals or drop charges against people who breached the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. This comes in the aftermath of a Supreme Court ruling that narrowed how federal prosecutors can pursue obstruction charges against those involved in January 6th. Prosecutors are now offering plea deals that do not include obstruction charges. According to the Justice Department statistics, there were roughly 259 defendants facing an obstruction charge when the High Court issued its ruling that narrowed how that law can be applied, CNN reported. The Supreme Court's ruling in Fisher v. United States said obstruction charges would only apply to defendants who attempted to impact documents and other things in an official proceeding. Prosecutors would have to prove each defendant falls into the category by connecting them to the Electoral College certificates Congress were certifying on that day, according to CNN. Only 17 people, that's less than 2% of the roughly 1,400 Capitol quote-unquote riot defendants, which we know is BS, were convicted of the obstruction charge and were not convicted of other felonies and are currently serving prison time, according to CNN. The Justice Department said 130 people have been convicted and sentenced for obstructing an official proceeding, though more than half of those individuals were also convicted of additional felonies. Several people convicted of obstruction have been released from jail during their appeal process. One of those people we know is Mr. Schaefer. This has to stop. This narrative is continuing on, and we know it's all complete garbage, and it's crumbling around them. They need to go ahead and wrap this up. What they've done to American citizens is absolutely disgusting, especially with what they did in releasing and letting loose all those people involved in the BLM riots, the Antifa riots, the people who actually broke into buildings in Washington, D.C., occupied Nancy Pelosi's office. Nothing, next to nothing, is happening to those people. It was a disgusting exercise by our government. And if you see it any other way, I can't help you, because it is way too obvious that this is all fantasy and it has to end. Anyway, thanks for joining me. And if you're a believer, prayers for John. If you're a supporter, show your love. Just, man, I want to see John go home. I want to see John empty of this. I've said it before, we may never see another Iced Earth album. Who knows how this has affected John, but he deserves to be free because he did nothing wrong.